rained out. The last part of the races that night were rained out, so we'll bring you that feature event here tonight. We're ready to go for 20 laps with whoever is in the house here tonight. That was on the starting grid. Your pole sitter, first one out tonight in the 4 car. He's out of Alexandria. That's Jeremy Nelson in 4. To his outside, he's out of Oakdale, Minnesota tonight. In the 8S car, Tony Schill starts second. Inside row 2 tonight out of Ramsey, Minnesota, it's Clayton Wagaman. Wagaman in that Ramsey, Minnesota 14W starts inside the second row. On the outside, it's the menace, Dennis Zeck. He's out of Rice in car number 2. He will start 4th. Inside row 3 in the 22 JB car, out of Big Lake, Minnesota, JB Storts. To his outside, out of Little Falls, Minnesota in the 18A, the driver Landon Atkinson starting 6th. On the inside of the 4th row tonight, he's out of Lake Shore, Minnesota in car 60. That is Dan Ebert. To Ebert's outside tonight in the 11 car, the North Shore Nightmare, Jody Belfi out of Duluth, Minnesota. Inside row 5, it's the 7A of Shane Sobraski. Sobraski out of Rice inside row 5. Starting 10th on the grid out of Zimmerman, Minnesota in 06. That's Jeremy Nelson in 06. Inside the 6th row tonight, Dave Kane will kick things off out of Corcoran, Minnesota in 2C. Scheduled on the outside in the 20 car, I believe, is not here tonight. The 20 car, Trevor Anderson out of Watertown, South Dakota, is not going to make the call. So moving up a spot will be Corey Jones out of Zimmerman in car 7J. To the inside of the 40 car is Charlie Hiluka out of Big Lake, Minnesota in car 40 starts next. Your next starter will be JT Johnson. JT in the 89 junior car out of Malacca. To the next position will be the U.S. car. That is Jonathan Olmscheid. Olmscheid out of El Rosa, Minnesota starts next in the U.S. car. The next starter will be Spicer, Minnesota's Tayton Hansen in car number 96. Up next on the grid, you'll find the 34 of Scott Ingholm. Ingholm in 34 out of Fort Ripley starts next. Your next starter will be the 9 of Don Eichens, the Iceman out of Richmond, Minnesota in 9E. And next on the grid will be the 27. That is Tony Prell. He is the pride of Sartell, Minnesota in 27. Tony Prell on the grid. Looks like your final starter in this group. So we started with 25 entries that were on the program the night of the 4th of May. We're ready to go green flag. The green will drop next time by for the first of 20 trips around. This is the makeup main event from May the 4th. So we're ready to go. In this one, we've got 6 scratches off the grid tonight. So we'll knock it down 6 cars and get ready to race. Jeremy Nelson in the 4 car out of Alexandria. On the outside, Tony Schill out of Oakdale in 8S. We're ready for green. Green is out, we're underway. This is the makeup main event from May the 4th. So we'll turn him loose, crank it up out of turn 4. A crossover move by Tony Schill just about got him the front spot. But beating him to the stripe was Jeremy Nelson in car 4. It's Nelson followed by Schill in the 8S, the 2 of Dennis the Menace in that 3rd spot. Side by side, Wagaman in 14W and 18A, Landon Atkinson having a battle out of turn number 4. Atkinson just barely in front of Wagaman in the 14W. They sit 4th and 5th, followed by the 11 of Jody Belfi. Here comes Dan Ebert in the 60 car, moving forward. In car 60, he's going to bring along J.B. Storts and Shane Sobraski. And the leader starting to roll out front, Jeremy Nelson. He shows the way. He was in a battle for the front spot, a battle no more. It's only with himself in car 4. About 6 car lengths in front of the 8S of Tony Schill. Here comes the menace, Dennis Seck. On a roll, going to try to cross over out of turn 4. Not quite. The menace in that 3rd spot now got a little bit more momentum off the hub of turn number 2. The 2 car looking to move into position number 2. About 4 laps into this one, soon to be 5 out of 20. It's your race-long leader to this point, Jeremy Nelson in 4. Dennis Zeck now has moved up a spot on the ladder in the 2 car. Zach moving up into the runner-up spot, puts Tony Schill back to third. Fourth and fifth, still a good battle. Wagaman solves that one as they work into turn number 3. Wagaman now sitting in the fourth spot with Landon Atkinson, Jody Belfi, Dan Ebert, and Shane Sobraski has moved up in 7A. Belfi goes to work on Atkinson out of turn number 2. Atkinson gets a little bit more, going to try the low groove now and switch with Wagaman, who goes up to the cushion here in 14W. Wagaman riding toward the rails in the 14W. He's got some extra momentum and a slingshot down the back straightaway. He's going to be in front of Atkinson, and here comes Dan Ebert in 60. Can almost make a way three-way battle out of turn 4. The leader continues to be the 4. That's Jeremy Nelson. Nelson out of Alexandria. 2 Jeremy Nelsons in the field of the modifieds here tonight at the Big O. It's Nelson, Zek, and that battle there. Wow, put a blanket over 4 cars for sure. For positions 3, 4, 5, and 6, it's a battle royal. The 8S of Tony Schill, Atkinson, Wagaman, and Ebert. And behind them, not too far, it's Sobraski and the E11 of Belfi. We're halfway. Flags crossed, 10 in the history books already on the downhill slide to the checkers tonight in the makeup main from May the 4th tonight at Ogilvie. The modifieds. Been green from the beginning of this one. Dennis Zek in the second spot in the 2. Atkinson climbs to third now as he works his way past Schill. Wagaman going to try to do the same thing down the back chute in 14W. Clayton Wagaman in a battle for 4th and 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Wow, a good one all the way back to Belfi in 11. So the blue and red competition flag goes out, and so does the yellow for the 34 car out of action in turn 2. That is Scott Engholm out of Fort Ripley, Minnesota in 34. Brings out the very first caution in this one. We're just a shade past halfway. Charlie Hiluka in car number 40 having a tough go of it here tonight in the makeup feature. Hiluka getting to join our heat races a little bit later on in the program. Tough break for Charlie Hiluka out of Big Lake in the 40 car, headed to the pits. So on the point by himself will be your race-long leader, Jeremy Nelson. He was the pole sitter out of Alexandria. He'll have the point by himself. The car in second place is the 2 of Dennis Zek. The Menace chooses high or low in row 2. He's parked the 2 car inside row number 2 in position 2. We're ready to go back to green flag. Atkinson gets served up the leftovers in the 18 car. It's Schill in the 8S. Wagaman in the 14W car. That's your top 5. Ebert on the inside. It's Sobraski on the outside. Belfi's next, and here comes Dave Kane moving up in 2C. We're ready to go back to green flag. Green back out, a battle down the back chute. That's the battle side by side for 2 and 3. The leader starts to check out once again. It's Jeremy Nelson in the 4 car. Going to try to make a break for it here on the downhill slide to the checkered flag. Wagaman in 14W pours the coals to it. He'll sit in that 4th spot up on the cushion in 14W. Atkinson and the 2 car of Dennis Zek bring along Wagaman in 14, and Ebert in 60 now has moved forward. Ebert in that 60 car in the 7A of Sobraski. It's Keene now 7th, and Belfi sits 8th. So Tony Schill drops back a few spots in that 8S car. He was in the mix for the lead here a little bit ago. Tony Schill dropping back a little bit as the field starts to stretch out just a little over the raceway with 6 to go. So with 6 remaining, it is still Jeremy Nelson in 4. Wagaman and Ebert now going side by side in turn 3. They're going to make it a 3-way battle. Ebert off the hub, going to put a sandwich move on to the Menace. Dennis second, the 2-car right between Wagaman and Ebert. That's the battle for third, fourth, and fifth. Wagaman now powers off the top shelf for the Big O. Going to sit third with Ebert down on the hub in 60. Behind your leader, Jeremy Nelson in 4 with 5 to go, and now make it 4 for the 4 machine as he tries to bring it to the checkered flag tonight. The makeup event for the modifieds in turn 4. The 34 car out of action, Scott Engholm in 34. Pointed the wrong way in turn 3. Caution on the track. Jonathan Olmscheid in the U.S. car stopping on the base of the raceway. Looks like he might need a little conversation with track officials. Put the yellow out on the racetrack. So Engholm in 34 in turn 3. Now Olmscheid in the U.S. car in the second corner. We'll back it up to the last fully scored and completed lap. We were to 4 laps to go. That was not a completed lap, so we'll go back to 5 remaining. 5 on the board, says the Village Bank scoreboard, where we put you first. So the lineup gets read down to the drivers right now through the receiver system. It is a one-way communication from track officials down to the drivers. Great night to be at the racetrack tonight. We sure appreciate you spending your Saturday night with us for dirt track racing here at the Wagaman's Ogilvie Raceway, the home of the Big O in Ogilvie, Minnesota. For those of you joining us on Dirt Race Central, watch DRC.TV. You can tune into the races. They are live tonight from Ogilvie Raceway. So the lineup just about set to go on the restart. The 4 of Jeremy Nelson on the point once again by himself with 5 to go. They're going racing next time. Green back out. We are back racing. Last caution tag to the 34 of Scott Engholm. As you know the rules, 2 yellows and you are done. So we talked about listening on the receiver system. He might not have his working quite like it should. So he's out on the raceway in the last position. He's not being scored because he's out of this one. Wagaman up to the top shelf, takes over the second spot on the last trip around. Wagaman got a head of steam into turn number 3, going to go top shelf out of turn number 4. Up to the top also is the 11 of Belfi. He is on a rail. Jody Belfi moving forward, the North Shore Nightmare. Going right side by side with Ebert in car number 60. Belfi going to jump into the 4th spot, but the leader, the first one to the flying green with 2 to go, Jeremy Nelson. Nelson out of Alexandria, the first one to 2 to go. Atkinson in 18A off the hub. Wagaman right on the top shelf, just about the rooftops for the 14W. Atkinson next. It's the 11 of Belfi and Ebert, followed by Sobraski and Zek with 1 to go. The white flag high in the sky. So a sizable lead built up for Jeremy Nelson in the 4 car. The battle for 2 and 3 going to be settled at the stripe this time by checkered flags go to the winner. Jeremy Nelson in 4. Second will belong to Landon Atkinson in 18A. Across the stripe in front of Clayton Wagaman, who finishes 3rd, and 4th goes to Jody Belfi in 11, Dan Ebert 60, finishing in the top 5. So there you have it, the winner in the 4 car out of Alexandria, Jeremy Nelson. Nelson to the win here tonight. This is the makeup main event from May the 4th. So it took us about 2.5 months, but we finally got a chance to put in the makeup feature for the modifieds. And Jeremy Nelson powers to the win tonight. He sits in the Integrity Title Incorporated U Motors Sturdy Race Engines Masters built by JMR. So the Victory Lane celebration will take place out in front of the grandstand tonight, right in front of the Victory Lane. It's a little bit dicey to try to get to the Victory Lane here tonight, so Nelson decided not to brave the elements and work his way into the Victory Lane. He'll take the congratulations here tonight and the trophy for the win in the modifieds, as we said, the makeup feature from May 4. There's your winner. Let's hear it for Jeremy Nelson in 4. A little different with the victory lane being on the outside of victory lane, and people in the grandstand get a chance to photobomb the pictures taking place down trackside tonight. There's your winner, Jeremy Nelson in 4. So up next on the program, we'll have our heat race for the Wissota Mod 4s. Mod 4 heat race getting ready to roll out of the staging area as they are going to do an 8-lap event, 10 cars deep in this one. So some of the names you